Welcome to the Tantric Leadership Podcast. My name is Anja and I'm the host of this podcast. I'm a feminine embodiment coach and facilitator. I love Tantra and Qigong and to bring people from mind to heart. And today's guests are Freya and Piotr. And I'm very, very happy to have them here with me today because they have tons of years of experience in Tantra, in teaching and sharing their magic and their wisdom, and in a Tantric relationship. So I would love for you to introduce you so that the people can get a feel a bit more about who you are.
So welcome, I'm Freya. I am a Tantra and Love coach and facilitator. I have been teaching Tantra for the last 15 years. And still learning because Tantra is such a vast domain, and maybe the rest of me will be revealed in the conversation.
Mm-hmm. I'm Piotr. I'm coming from the business perspective. So I was running a few companies for many years. Was professional rodeo rider, and for the last 30 years I do meditation, Tantra, Tai Chi and other interesting things.
Thank you very much. I'm curious, first of all, what brought you to Tantra? How do you get there?
So for me, I have been doing yoga, meditation, breath work, shamanic work for like 25 years. And it was beautiful, but I was missing something. I was growing spiritually. I had beautiful connection with people, with the divine, but something was missing on the body level, especially in the sexuality. So I thought, and I always believed, that there's something more than I have been experiencing. And that kind of brought me to Tantra.
How long is this ago?
That was
your first footsteps into this world.
About 17 years ago.
17 years,
yes.
Wow.
Yes. You?
No, I started with transcendental meditation in like mid-80s, but then I moved through many modalities, from New Age through shamanic, through work with natives in America. And Tantra was the only place that I meet teachers who would say, don't trust us, trust only yourself, feel your body. We can only give you a set of tools or experiences, but we are not going to tell you how to live. And this was very freeing, I would say.
Yes.
So maybe I will add how exactly I met Tantra, because I went with my ex-husband to a retreat where we were supposed to work on our relationship. He was exploring polyamory. I didn't even know what it was. And of course I was in deep crisis. So we went to this workshop, which was actually more about relationship than energy. But in the evening we had a massage. I was with my husband in crisis, so you can imagine how we felt, contracted, new to everything for me. And next to us was a group of 4 people massaging each other in the tantric way. So I couldn't even look there. I just heard all these orgasms, etc., etc. So there was something amazing. I came back to my room. And I was feeling this amazing energies. Like I didn't even know what it was. And we actually got into a quarrel with my ex-husband. And I remember he touched my head like with the despair that this cannot be solved. And then like a thunder went through my body. Like thunder of orgasmic, full expressed energy orgasm. Like I had no idea why it came from, where and how. But that hooked me to Tantra. I wanted to explore more. I wanted to learn about it. And so that's my beginning.
And then how did you come to teaching? Like, it's one part to really explore this world, and another one to really wanting to share this with the world.
Well, I have been into the teaching, meditation, and self-development courses before. So it was kind of natural because I was going to learn Tantra. I was learning from the best teachers that I could find. And then I was assisting them, and then I was sometimes facilitating morning meditations. Actually, one very important part of that journey was when, because I have been with Tantra Women for many years, and I was teaching the Osho meditations, but I didn't have the certificate. I didn't really needed it, but I felt I want to go to India to learn from the master. Of course, he was not there, but the energy of the master was still there. And I came back, and my teaching somehow started to jump from like 1 to 2 to 5, 6, or 10 in terms of groups and possibilities, opportunities. So I'm actually really grateful for that lineage that through that training in Pune gave me the access to some blessing, I would say, from the master.
So through this training, how long was it, the training in Pune?
That was about 15 years ago.
No, but how long in total? How many
that
weeks
was
or months?
about 3 weeks.
So through the training, I hear that something in your energy field shifted, and then that opened, and more people came to your workshops.
Yes, my teachers whom I was assisting were proud that I'm the Osho facilitator, and I was giving the space to teach the meditations. And then slowly, I was invited to festivals, doing small groups, and then bigger groups, and bigger groups. And part of our journey actually started with the workshops of John Hawken, and we met there. And we did, I think, every possible workshop that he offered, including the Tantra teachers training, Tantra massage training, Tantra training. So a lot of what we teach comes from
And this is
him.
your main teacher, right? Or your most influence?
I would say he gave us like the basics, but I also learned a lot from Santoshi, of course.
Yes.
And a lot from Shahar Kaspi from Israel. And I also was studying classical Tantra with Harish. Also with Margot Anand, we went for a course with her. So we're trying different flavors of different teachers, because it's always interesting to learn. Yeah, and of course we did Istas. Yes. Because everybody in the field needs to go to the Istas, so we did that, and that also was a great experience.
Oh, thank you for sharing.
So I have totally different lineage, I would say.
Yeah.
Because I'm more from the psychology and neurobiology. And I used to work as a journalist for many years as a reporter, so I was always looking for the strings, for the mirrors, for all those fake gurus who are pretending to be.
And they're out there too.
Yeah, and they can heal you with the
lingams.
Yep. So once I started to study with John Hawken, it was a very careful and deep explanation of how the exercises, experiences are structured, what is the psychological base, what is the result we want to achieve, what we have to pay attention to, and basically how they are rooted in the classic psychology. He's drawing a lot from Wilhelm Reich, a lot of Jung, a lot of Freud. So there is a very strong base of classical psychology, a bit of neurobiology, because now we have this whole flow experiences, which are explaining exactly which neurotransmitters we have to get activated into our bodies. And finally, we are getting to the point where shamanism is meeting the science.
Yes, which is amazing.
And we know that those experiences that were invented like few thousand years ago actually are now well researched, and we know that they activate either your parasympathetic nervous system, or they are touching your vagal nerve, and we know how to work with it and what to pay attention to, regardless of the costume we are putting on it.
Yeah. So would you say, like, all these ancient practices we're studying, be it Qigong, Tai Chi, Tantra, is kind of a ancient biohacking, which now is discovered in a new way, because slowly science is able to prove what it does to our bodies, like yoga, yantra, whatever we do, right? Now they start measuring these things and can prove what it does to the nervous systems, to the health of beings, to healing and all that stuff.
Like during the massage, we are working a lot with fascia, and now we are learning that this is exactly where the meridians or nadis are placed.
Yeah.
Exactly, the same lines.
Interesting, right? Yeah, and I know that from kinesiology as well. Like I studied that, and there you work a lot with meridians, and it always comes back to this, right? To work with the energy lines. I would love to ask you, what is Tantric leadership for you?
That's a beautiful question, and when you said that name, I said, wow, that's a powerful name for what we actually, I think, do. Because for me, when we work with Tantra, we work with the basic two pillars, which is consciousness and energy. And when we have access through the energy to the power, like the immense power of the earth, our sexuality, we can use it for pleasure, of course. We can use it just and lose it, and we can use the consciousness to really give direction to this energy. We want to be more powerful as teachers, facilitators, powerful in the boardroom, in the business, creative, yes. So without the consciousness, the energy is just pure energy and chaos. And with these two, that's why we need to work constantly on the masculine and the feminine to really be empowered. And by studying Tantra, it happened to me a lot that people tell me that I'm powerful. I used to be very shy, but my voice changed.
Yes, same here.
Yes, like I'm actually manifesting in life many things, including my love. He appeared when I was ready, but for many years I was searching and working on my masculine. I need to be this in order to have a fulfilled relationship. I need, whenever my business is, I'm struggling with too much work, I'm thinking, okay, maybe I should focus. So again, coming back to the masculine, to the consciousness, and how to channel my energy to manifest, for example, great manager for my business. Yes, so that's for me.
What's for you, Tantric leadership?
Tantra is a lot about body, and leadership is about embodiment. So it's not the question how you can push people, it's the question how you can pull them, which means you have to become what you teach, you have to be the example. And with those qualities, with this energy that you can project, you help with the transformation. And it happens when you're ready.
I would love to ask you for your one or two favorite embodiment practices. Is there something you can give the people who watch or listen that they can start practicing with for their own embodiment?
What we have with us always, breath.
Yeah, breath, sound, movement, and an exercise that I almost always do with clients, individual clients, is Kundalini shaking.
My favorite.
Yes, it's this very simple,
my lifesaver.
simple practice. You can do it anywhere. and you shake your body, standing on your feet, just shaking, using your sound, and you are releasing tension, you are releasing stress, you are awakening your sexual energy, because it's you're moving your pelvis back and forth like this, and you are immediately awakened to do whatever you want. And it's great to do before sex, to release the day and just get ready for the meeting with your partner. That's, for me, I love it.
And the more masculine is noticing, stopping for a moment, taking a breath. We very rarely ask ourselves a question: where am I right now? What am I feeling? How my body is feeling?
True.
What do I want? What am I afraid of? Just this mini check-in every hour. Let's do it.
Wow, I just wanted to say every day, every hour. That's even more advanced.
I wanted to start with every 5 minutes.
We need to start somewhere, right? Like most people, they have never been in touch with that before. So really to make the first steps and to become more aware, like, of your own bodies, and to just observe what's happening, to feel more, essentially, right? To learn how to feel, to sense more.
But we can see that Tantra is this weaving of many modalities. So you have mindfulness, which is very popular right now. You have meditation. You have thread exercises, which is shaking. You have psychology. You have massage, embodiment. So it's like very interesting modality that encapsulates everything that's possible, that's connected with human development, and at the same time with trauma release, with getting down to our roots, who we are, what do we want, and how do we want to get there.
Yeah, that's very important. Thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, people come for have a better sex often because they heard this tantric sex orgasm, multiple orgasms. Yes, it is possible, and on the way probably everybody will get there, but on the way
it's a way.
They become more conscious, more calm, more present. First of all, I always say, we're the most important person in your life, which is you.
The relationship to yourself.
Yes, exactly.
Your body.
Exactly. And then the orgasmic pleasure will come with it as a gift, but it's not a goal. It's a journey.
Side effect.
Yeah, I would say yes, it's a side effect, because the ultimate goal of Tantra is enlightenment, to meet the divine, and there are many beautiful ancient practices that we are still cultivating in our modern Tantra. We call it somatic Tantra, which is connected to the body, but it's different little bit what we do nowadays, because for us Westerners it's difficult to meditate hours and hours. So learning from Osho, who gave us those capsulated meditations of 1 hour, where we can go through releasing emotions and finding the peace, the presence, and the touching of the enlightenment, even in 1 hour meditation.
Yes, especially in the dynamic and Tisha heart. Like, just to add a little bit, Osho meditations are mainly dynamic meditations. So he channeled a lot of active movement meditations, and it's not so much about strict sitting for 10 days, 10 hours and 10 days.
Yeah, because that would be really too much for the beginners.
Yeah.
And the beauty of Tantra is that it's changing the perspective, because we go usually through our life with this feeling of we are unloved, or we have sinned, we have this guilt, we have this fear of rejection. But Tantra is saying, okay, so let's start from the small steps. Do you love yourself? Do you reject yourself? can you help yourself? So it gives you this responsibility for yourself and the tools to deal with it.
And how did that change your business life?
In my case, I become responsible for everything. I'm not waiting for some outside thunder to change everything. You simply have to go down to the roots and make the decisions. And trust your intuition, trust your body, trust your gut feeling.
Yeah.
And for me, when I was studying with John Hawken, and whenever I was going to my drama, in whatever situation, also business, for example, he always told me, ask yourself a question. What are you choosing right now? Are you choosing the drama, the difficulties, or what do you want? And again, use the energy, use the consciousness, and really go for it.
Like direct the consciousness to what you want to create and not to what you don't want.
Yes,
in your
exactly.
life, right?
And step by step. So I must say, for me, it was more organic. I have been self-employed for many years before, with different results. I used to work in corporation before, it was great. I had a lot of money, a lot of responsibilities. And then when I stopped corporation because it was too much, then it was kind of a time of chaos and being feminine and not having money. Yes. And actually, when I completed my Tantra massage training, which we are teaching now in Poland, it changed because now I had a tool, beautiful tool. I could teach anywhere in the world, and I started to make money.
Wow.
That was like really empowering for the beginning path. And I was doing what I loved. So that was amazing. And then step by step, growing, building groups. And recently, I must say, I have a company. I have a team.
Yay!
Yes, and I have a strategy, helpers, people who support me, whom I trust, which is also beautiful. That's, I think, very important aspect of Tantra is that you're not doing the business the old way, that you are the boss and how bosses sometimes treat people. I learned to really respect my team because I want them to love what they do. They come because they love it, but I don't want the relationship, the drama, the ego to stand in front of us growing. So I want my people, my friends who are my employees to grow with me, and also my students. Yes, I want to empower them as well to because the more we have, the more of us have more, and then we have more impact. Then again, it's maybe the tantric leadership that you called it so beautifully.
Thank you for sharing.
If you call it Tantra for business, it becomes scary. But if you call it the art of concentration, of focusing, of mindfulness, it becomes very accessible. And actually, it's now taught in many corporations under different names.
What kind of names are they? What are they using there?
The whole, for instance, flow training, which means how to access this altered states of consciousness, which are the most effective both for business and for life.
Interesting.
And now we know exactly the underlying neurobiology. We know which tools we can use to bring it into our life more often. We can decide if we want to use it for corporate life, for professional, or for personal.
Yes.
And I will tell you something.
Yes.
I have 3 students of our course. One of them is a CEO of very big company in the field of like really heavy, not at all connected to self-development at all. Like it's like kind of construction, big one. And then he hired also another student of ours who is the HR manager.
Oh, that's great.
And she's using she's also a programmer, but she's using the skills, the soft skills to manage relationships in the
Yes.
company. So that's amazing how they do it. And they also have another student of ours who is doing some other things in the HR. So when I see this, I see the future.
Same here. I feel it's so important that especially big corporate companies have this kind of, they now call it people manager, relationship manager, and there's a new part, well-being manager, to bring this, to bring this more in, because they see that like every second person has a burnout, depression, anxiety, or something like that. And where does it come from? Because the world is so fast, and the pressure is like growing, and we're not coming up, we're not, how do you say, catching up with all the tasks and all the messages and all that. It's super stressful, right?
Yeah.
And especially in corporate companies, there's lots of manipulation going on, much in the shadow, and the stresses the nervous system. So for me, the tools we use in Tantra can really shift that, and under different names, because most people just think it's sexuality, and it's not. It's really a way of life, of like experience life in a different and for me more full way.
At the same time, Tantra is about truth and clarity.
Yes, I love it.
So there is no place for all those shadows, for those suggestions of those times that I think that you should feel what I have deep down in my mind. Communicate clearly. What do you want? I will tell you if I give it to you or not. If I'm not, you are thanking me that I took care of myself, and we are going to make happen whatever is needed for the company or for life or for relationship. Everything in the open.
Yeah, thank you very much. I would love to hear just briefly, how does a tantric relationship look like? Like, what has changed in relationship for you through living Tantra?
I think what really is important is to have courage to be vulnerable. Because when difficulties come, and they do come, I remember our beginnings when a small situation, just like I gave Piotr a gift for birthday, and he didn't like it. As it was Rowan's the first birthday, and I was like feeling disappointed, but in a way, of course, he has the right not to like it, but it was so much going on, like rejection and this and that, and I started to cry. He didn't understand why. And I could not stop it, so there was no point of pretending that it's fine. I just really honestly said how I felt, even though it was awkward. It was like, but I spelled it out, and then he was like appreciating this, and for me it was like, wow, so I can be really in my most vulnerable truth, and he said, wow, and then was like, oh, okay, this is the place.
Yes, this is home.
Because we are coming mostly from those middle class families full of hypocrisy of what men should be, of what women should be, of how I should behave, or I have to be careful not to offend somebody. I cannot speak out my truth. I am not able to receive truth of somebody else. And this creates like layers and layers and layers and layers of misunderstandings and those things that are deep under the carpet. And Tantra is teaching you how to quarrel, how to create your boundaries, how to love somebody even if you can't stand some of the behaviors. It's a challenge on the one hand, but on the other it's very clear. And every time you are coming back to what do I appreciate rather than what pisses me off.
Yeah, about the other one.
And
so you come always back to love.
Yes. And in order to come back to life, it's also important to have a practice. So we have a weekly practice. Doesn't always happens every week. I must be true also, because we are very busy. But when we have a free week, then we have this date. We call it the Queen or King's date.
That's very nice.
And one person is organizing it for the other.
Yes.
And it's sometimes 1 hour, sometimes longer, when we do the practices that we teach. We do massages, we do sometimes playful games, sometimes we just lay down and cuddle, sometimes we have sex. So, you know,
Beautiful.
sometimes we go out.
And you have a date for the relationship to
Yes.
nourish the relationship.
And it's important that it is one, like the queen is organizing it for the king, and I'm in service for him, and then he organizes for me, so he's in service. So he's setting this space and offering to me what I want, of course, in his boundaries as well.
So it's always one is giving and one is fully receiving.
Yes, that's beautiful.
This
Thank you for
is
sharing. It's very
the
powerful.
tool for keeping your ego in check. Because even
Thank
with
you.
touch, if I'm touching her and she's saying that I want different touch, my first reaction is, oh, I'm rejected.
Yeah.
I know your body better. I know how to touch you. How can you interrupt me when I'm doing something for you? And it's time to go a step back. If this is for you, you tell me what to do. I will keep my ego in check and do what you want. I'm in
This
service.
moment. Because
And then we can switch. Because
Thank
Tantra
you.
is about elasticity.
and sometimes I may have completely different idea what that date would be, and that's what he wants. So I'm in service for him, because, and then when I receive what I want, not what he wanted or imagined, then my system is calming down. I'm relaxing, and from that place I can be so open to sex, to love, beautiful love making session, and it happened quite a lot. There's no pressure. So we have the date, so we have sex.
We have to do this.
We have to do it. It will never work. I mean, it can work, but it will be painful in this way or the other.
And from the masculine perspective is great, because when we play this dominance and submission, and man always has to be inventive and know and take responsibility and make all the decisions. And when I hear do this, I'm like, whoa, I don't have to think, I don't have to invent, I can just follow.
So she puts a request as well for the dates, and then you organize it.
And then I don't have to think how to make it better or what to do, or I'm just doing.
You just
It's
make her happy.
very
Unless
relaxing.
I ask him, you be the boss.
Okay, that's
You
possible
organize,
too.
so it's also possible. Yes, it's like it can be also. I want to submit to your dominance, for example. That's
beautiful.
also juicy.
Also very beautiful sharing. Thank you. I have one last question. If you would have a magic stick and create a Tantra festival, how would that look like? Everything is possible. Whatever you ever dreamed of, what excites your heart.
Well, it would be in a beautiful place, in nature somewhere, hopefully, with warm, comfortable spaces, welcoming spaces, beautiful spaces. So the decorations, music also is very important. Time, good teachers, yes, like good and various, like variety of teachers, not only from one field of Tantra, but many different ones. So I think that is giving people the choice and possibility to learn from different paths. Time to rest. Tantric festivals are usually so intense. So a day or half a day to integrate, maybe with a spa.
Yes, I would love to have a
Spa
spa.
is a beautiful place too, especially if we are in Europe and there's not so many and not in the summer. Yes, if it's in the summer, then you have the lake or sea, which is also beautiful. Water, to have water. And,
Thank you.
You?
Yeah, for many years I was producing movies, and everybody was thinking that there is a secret or a blueprint to a good movie. It's not. It's an alchemy. It's an alchemy of how to create a safe and accepting space that people would feel open to explore. We call those spaces, like our workshop, we call them laboratories. So you are safe to not to break your boundaries, but to stretch them a bit, to experiment, but knowing that you are held. You have a safe space to discuss, to integrate, to notice, and there is always a place to come back to.
Yeah, so
also
to have a space, physical space in the event where people always can gather. Like I was going to Israel to festivals a lot, and there was always this fire keeper. It was burning all the time. Even if it's not possible to have a fire outside because we're, let's say, in the winter, but to have that space that people can come and just be. I think this is also
very important. Thank you very, very much for adding this. Thank you for this beautiful, exciting talk today.
Thank you.
And for you who are watching and listening, you will find more information about Freya and Piotr and their amazing work and workshops in the captions and in the notes. And we all look forward to hear from you. If you want to share something, if you have a big takeaway from this talk, or if you have any questions, please reach out to us. And thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you for inviting us, and thank you for your being with us.